Yeah, I had a great friend and client point out to me one time that I was just hammering him with a bunch of context,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, I said, I don't know where you're going with this, Gabe. He's like, and he has run billion-dollar companies. So
Mm.
he's not like, he has some experience and he's incredibly intelligent. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Gabe. Like, you're just confusing the hell out of me. And we ended up having some conversations, some of the probably the most intense conversations I've had in my life, because he's just in a really kind way one of the most aggressive communicators I've ever met. Like I've yet to have a conversation with somebody like him. And so I started to break down what he was saying, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just starting with all this nonsense and noise and like all these details, all this context, and there's no way to filter or break that down or know what to do with it. It's just all useless information. And in realizing that, he pointed out some things that he had written and he shared some resources. And after a few weeks of studying it, I was like, oh, there's a really simple path where you can clearly tell somebody ahead of time, here's what I want you to pay attention to when I'm communicating to you. Here's the reason why. And then here's all the context and details. And I go into that in chapter 4 in the book, because all the tools and frameworks that we use and that I've built and had other people kind of share aspects of that I was able to create from that have really helped. But that one specifically opened the door to all of us, because like, oh, like, of course nobody's doing what I want them to do, or I'm trying to lead and help them and they don't get it, and there's no emotion because it's just a bunch of noise, just a bunch of context. But when you set up what you want to accomplish in this really, really simple framework, every single time you use it, there will be zero confusion about the result that you want, the destination and where you want people to go. And it makes communication a little bit more intense in a good way, but it cuts down the amount of words you have to write, or what you have to say, or how long your presentation has to be, or even in a confrontational kind of situation, which we, in my team and with our culture, we believe in positive confrontation. But even in a confrontation, you can just get really clear and go straight to, here's what I'm asking for. Here's the reasons behind that. And so that realization helped me understand, oh, the brain can only process masses of information if you anchor it into one thing and say, here's why you need to know all this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I know there's plenty of research and information out there about this, but nobody boiled it down into a simple thing that I can teach somebody in literally 30 seconds and they can use the rest of their life.
No, normally if you want to learn, you have to take 6 months of NLP certifications. Like
Yes.
like to be really frank with everybody listening or watching this, like that 30-second piece, like that's the most important part, because like people have to go spend their life like doing neurolinguistic programming and understand seating and framing and positioning. But really, NLP was created out of most of us being really crappy communicators. And then you find the part, and I know Gabe, and Gabe's the master of like, okay, cool, but like I want the best tool for the job. I don't need the whole toolbox. Just give me the tool. And I love that. I love that. And you know what? I really appreciate that as well. And I have a